Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs. So, to the surprise of no one except maybe Kyle Dubas, Kyle Dubas was let go by the Toronto Maple Leafs today. That was announced by the team's president, Brendan Shannahan. Um, I think Kyle Dubas was surprised because I don't think he thought he was going to get fired. I think he thought it was going to be up to him whether he was staying or leaving. Personally. So Dubas was with the team since 2014 when he joined as the assistant GM. He became the GM in 2018 when Shannahan, I guess, decided not to re-sign GM Lou Lamoriello. Dubas will leave June 30th. This is officially, when his contract runs out. But I got to think if they fired him today, they may need him to sign some things, but he's not going to make any decisions, I would have to think. Dubas is responsible for signing all of the top four players. That's Tavares, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. To huge contracts that, in my opinion, handcuffed the Leafs' ability to build around its stars. They weren't able to build around the team, have a proper defense, a top goaltender. They just weren't able to do that because of the top four players took up basically half the cap. Dubas said this year was very taxing on his family, and he'd have to consult with them on returning. And this ultimately cost him his job, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Bad signings and trades and poor team construction, in my opinion, are what cost Dubas his job. That's my opinion. Apparently, Shannahan says something a little differently, but I'm going to tell you that in a minute. He was too loyal to his stars, and a team not designed for the playoffs that left the Leafs unable to win when it counts, and that's the postseason. They were built for the regular season, it seems, but they definitely were not built for the postseason. One playoff series in his 9-year tenure just isn't good enough for any GM anywhere. No surprise here after Dubas went all in at the deadline, and after trading away future success for immediate success, he's failed to win and failed to keep the cupboards full of prospects and picks, failed at cap management, and failed as GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's my opinion. So this is from Shanahan himself from his press conference that he held today. This is what he said happened ultimately. Dubas's doubt at returning caused him to look past Dubas and think about what the Leafs would look like under a new GM. He mentally moved past Dubas, in the day or two he had. I think he said it was like 3 days. And he totally mentally moved past Dubas. When Dubas decided that he did want the job, after all, Shannahan had already moved on and then fully decided to go in a different direction. Apparently, Dubas's agent and Dubas himself, they sent a package. I don't know if it's a counter offer or what, an offer, I guess, to re-sign. And I don't know what the numbers are. He didn't say at all. But by then, he had already decided to move on. It didn't make any difference that Dubas had decided to return. Shanahan had enough time to think about it and to think, I think, like a lot of people outside of the Leafs fan base and maybe organization, that maybe Dubas didn't really do a good job and actually left them vulnerable in a lot of places, and I think that's what happened. Dubas's inability to decide cost him his job. So with Dubas gone, what fate does Coach Sheldon Keefe face? If Shanahan doesn't do the firing, and I think a lot of people are expecting any time now to hear that Keefe has been fired, the next GM that they hire will definitely bring in his own coach, his own choice for a coach. More than likely, it's unlikely that the guy would come in and say, we'll keep Keefe. That's very unlikely, and there'll be a new coach. Keefe, once again, I think, was outcoached in the playoffs, and I don't think he adjusted well in the elimination game 5 when he should have done something to get a better effort from his stars. I know the goalie was hot, Bobrovsky, but I mean, come on. It's consistent over the years that this happens. He has not been able to win the big game once again. Is that all on Keefe? Not necessarily. Players have something to do with it. So, who could be the next GM? Next question. I think it's too early to tell. But I would suspect they'd like an experienced GM in place, like before the draft, which is June 28th, which gives them roughly about 30 days or so to at least have him in place a few days before the draft to get acclimated with the situation and whatever. Although, the scouting staff, they'll probably be the ones making the picks, right? So, yeah, I think that happens. I know there's news that Joel Quenneville is going to have a meeting at the end of the season with Gary Bettman, and Bettman's going to decide, and they're going to talk about his status with the NHL. You know what? If they do that and they reinstate Joel Quenneville, a known abuser, then maybe the Leafs are a perfect place for them. That's from a Habs fan. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And I'll see you soon. Ciao, everybody.